everyone, my name is SiC. Welcome to the open dev build called Lucy. So we could get access to this by either pre-ordering the game or by watching certain Twitch accounts for 3 hours, and that is what I did. I did not pre-order this, but I did watch someone for 3 hours, and that gave me a bit of an idea about what to expect in this game, but certainly there's a lot left to learn. And today we're taking my very first look at Humankind, which is essentially a Civ style game from the people behind Endless Legend, Endless Space 1 and 2. All of those games, like a lot of their games, or pretty much every one of their games, is very highly praised. And this should be, in their own words, kind of like a magnum opus, or the game they always wanted to make as a game that would be kind of like a competitor to the Civilization series of Sid Meier's fame. So definitely very interesting, and they have a lot of cool concepts going for them. So anyway, let's jump straight in. Actually, let me check the setting one time. We're all at good. Let's go for fantastic. I don't think that's going to be hitting us too hard in the performance. However, keep in mind this is alpha. This is also a very limited piece of the game. We can play for about 150 turns. In the words of the developer, the game is much bigger than that. We can play through about 4 ages, but there will be more ages in the final game. There should be more civilizations, more everything, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah, keep that in mind. This is not a finished build. This is not everything you can expect from this game, but it's certainly going to be pretty close, I would say. Yeah, at least you can see the direction they're going to go for, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, enough talking, let's start the scenario. Alright, so we're in the game and it is time to start exploring. Now, something that is very cool about this game, I think, for now at least in concept, is the fact that we start off as a nomadic tribe. Now this might look very similar to how you start off in Civilization 6, but you won't immediately plop down a city. Instead, you are a nomadic tribe and you start moving through the game world, you start exploring your surroundings. You can put down not settlements, but outposts, so little camps, I guess, that do lay claim to these provinces that you can see. You can see these dotted lines here, they signify the different provinces. And yeah, there's a bunch of things here that we need to learn more about as we play. But first off, let's have a look. Small beginnings. Your objective in the Neolithic is to survive and reach the ancient era. Explore the lands with your tribe and enter the new era through one of 3 means: by cultivating your knowledge, your population, or hunting animals. Right, so we have this little set of goals up here. We need to find either food so we can grow in population. We need to find curiosities to improve your tribe's understanding of the world. You would need to find 10 of those, which is quite a lot. Or you would need to hunt a total of 3 animal units. Right, understood. So, here is our little tribe, and let's have a look at them. The tribe panel. Your tribe is the core of your empire. In order to increase its population, you must increase its number of units. Every time you find food, this meter will grow. Once filled, you will receive a new unit. Explore to find food. So, gather food by collecting food curiosities. If you reach a stock of 20, a new unit will join your army. Your stock is currently at 0. Right, so we need to find 20 food, and that will give us a new unit. Now, one of the things, of course, is that we need to survive. And we cannot do that with just this one group of guys and women, I guess. So my priority probably would be to start growing as quickly as possible. With that, we would be able to hunt better. 5 population and or units within your empire. Current value 1, so we could we need to get 5. Right now we have 1, and it seems like we can go up to 4. Now, at that point we might put down an outpost, I guess, and that might count as 5, but I'm not sure about that. So, knowledge curiosity. Your tribe has spotted a knowledge curiosity. Visiting it will grant a vision bonus until the end of the turn and progress your knowledge star meter. Once completed, you will be able to enter the ancient era. To collect a knowledge curiosity, move your army onto it. Similarly, we have a food curiosity. Your tribe has spotted a food curiosity. Harvesting it will progress your growth star meter and help you gain a new unit. To harvest a food curiosity, move your army onto it. I think growing is going to be good for us. So we're going to move over to the left hand side there. That gives us wild berries. 5 food for that. No, we need 20. What do we have over here? Saffron. A vivid, fragrant spice used in dyes, perfumes, medicines, and of course food. Grants extra resources from tiles, producing the corresponding resource, plus 5 stabilities on all cities. Alright, so that's pretty nice. Where is our movement range? So this, I guess, is our movement range. We have 1 out of 4 left. So we could move somewhere else. We could move on to the Saffron, or we could move back in the direction of the other thing. I guess we might as well do that. Yeah. And there's the other thing that we need to keep in mind. Terrain supposedly is very important for combat scenarios. The high ground gives you a lot of benefits, and of course also vision range. So actually, instead of moving down here, I might have moved over there and then moved up on the next turn. I don't think we can move from here up to the high ground, but I'm not entirely sure about that yet. Alright, so that's what we can do for now, I guess. Humankind Encyclopedia. We have a bunch of people left to meet. Shows the relationship you have with other empires. Once another empire is discovered, you can set its icon to open the diplomatic options and manage your relations and demands with it. This is our goals. And this is us, Lucy, the titular character of the Lucy Open Dev build. So yeah, we are a nomadic tribe. We need to earn era stars to earn fame and win the game. So that's the other thing about this game that's quite interesting, is you don't get the different winning options like you would have in at least the recent Civilization games. I haven't played the older ones, but what I know about Civilization 5 and Civilization 6, I have played those quite a bit. I have played them on my channel here. You've got a science victory, a military victory, a religious victory, a diplomatic victory, and all of these push you in a certain direction. Now, to win this game, you simply need to earn more fame than anyone else, and you can do that by doing anything really, building a wonder, reaching certain goals. I guess these knowledge stars as well. You can get rewards for all of these, 100 fame, and I guess a star for every goal that you complete. Competitive deeds, unlock 1 star to choose your first culture. Yeah, so if we do this, and that's another cool thing about this game, is you don't start off with a civilization immediately. We start off as a generic tribe. Let's end the turn here for now. But yeah, the important difference for that is that, well, in Civilization 6, for example, you choose your civilization first, right? And then after that, you would start a game, and you would hope that you start in an area or a situation that benefits the civilization you chose. That is more important for certain civilizations than others, of course. But in this game, you start off as just this generic tribe, you enter the map, and then you look at all the stuff around you, and based on that, that is what you can later on pick your first civilization on. Right, so we found an ancient encampment. You have discovered something valuable. Finding this curiosity increased your knowledge as shown in the meter. When it's full, you'll be able to leave the Neolithic. Understood. Right, it seems to be found 2 instead of 1. And that is very interesting for sure. I don't know if all of these things would give us 2. Now we have a sanctuary over here. I don't know what that does. Terrain details, base movement cost 1, hunting party army. And we found a mammoth over here. Now we could go ahead and try and fight it, but as you can see, we have a strength of 10, he has a strength of 13, so he would mess us up quite badly, I would say. Yeah, so instead of that, we've moved all we can move, it seems. So I would say it's time to end our turn. Alright, so he's moving down towards the south. We found a deer that we could hunt. Now, would we be able to... We would be able to attack and kill this thing, and if we do 3 of those, we would win. However, we only have the 1 unit. If it gets damaged, it's easy pickings for anything else, which is not very good for us. And oh, this is an interesting thing. So moving on to the river pretty much costs us all of our movement. Base movement cost 4, so crossing a river is very hard to do. And then on our next move we could move up to here, and then we could move over there. Now, do we want to do that? Because this seems to be a lot of desert. We could follow the river, but this would also be too... so that could get us a bit further, actually. Yeah, I would say end the turn here, and let's go for it. Peaceful animal. Animals can be hunted to collect more food and increase your growth star meter. But hunting can be dangerous, so choose your prey carefully. Peaceful animals, such as deers or mammoths, will not attack you first, so take your time and be sure that you are stronger than your quarry. To start a hunt, move your army to the same tile as the animal. Alright, so we could go ahead and do that. It would give us food. I don't know how much, but it would help us grow. That's nice. Yeah, we're going to go for it. We discovered something else by moving on to the high ground here. We found copper. Gatekeeper to the Bronze Age. Copper finds uses in weaponry, coinage, medicine, and decoration. The resource extraction is locked. You need to research the bronze working technology after entering the ancient era. Interesting. Alright, so confirmation phase. You've engaged an enemy in battle. If this was a mistake, you can cancel the attack using the retreat button. If you do so, your army will be moved automatically using its maximum movement points, no matter if they have been spent before. Interesting. Until the end of the turn, the retreating army will receive a retreat status, locking several army actions and preventing further retreat. Note that the enemy can also choose to retreat. You can also use the confirm battle button to commence the fight. Note the overall army strengths to help you estimate the outcome of the battle. So overall, we are stronger. We could auto-resolve this battle, or we could just go ahead and see if we could do this on our own. We only have 1 unit and they have 1 unit, so it shouldn't be too complicated, really. We have the deployment phase. You can move your unit anywhere you want on your side of the battlefield. This is a good moment to use the terrain. Elevation will give you better vision and combat strength bonuses. Forest tiles reduce ranged damage, and rivers decrease the combat strength of all units fighting on them. Let's move your units. Note that its movement points are not depleted during this phase. Alright, so this is an interesting one. So we can stay, or we can go anywhere in the blue zone. Now, I'm curious if this deer could move up here to attack us. This seems to count like high ground. There's a river here. Of all units fighting on them. So maybe we don't want to be on the river. We definitely want to be on the high ground. So if we stay here, that seems like a good strategy. So we can end the deployment there. And let's see, every turn there are 5 battle rounds. Of course, huge battles can last much longer than 5 battle rounds, and so can take place over several turns. That is something that existed in Endless Legend as well, even though I haven't played much of that much I know. So that's kind of cool. You can have these big massive battles that keep going on and on and on. You might be able to send reinforcements to them and so on. And it's not like Civilization where you just click and attack and that's it. As you advance through the eras, the number of battle rounds will generally increase as the number of units engaged in battle rises. The first empire to act in battle is the attacker. They play all their units and then the defender plays. So we are the attacker. Each unit can only move and attack once per battle round. Select one of your units with right mouse button, then click R. Well, this is a bit weird, like it's a bit small, but I guess maybe this indicates the left mouse button, even though my brain tells me that the white one is the one to be clicked, but we don't right click on units. That's weird. So I'm assuming the dark one is the one that you click and then right click on something else. That's how I've been playing anyway. Don't forget to move first. Not all units are allowed to move after they attack. But in this case, I might just want to stay where I am because this seems like a good position. Hovering the cursor over an opponent's unit while having your unit panel open allows you to see the Confrontation Simulation. This gives an estimate of how much damage your unit will inflict and suffer, as well as the malices and bonuses applied on its combat strength. Note that the terrain also plays a significant part in this. Right, so combat strength is 10, so we might lose 10 or 20 health. The deer will lose 30 to 40 if we would move and attack. We might just want to stay here. So let's say we will end the round. Skipping units remaining without orders. Yeah. Note that you can end a round anytime by using this button. You can also activate the automatic battle mode with left click, I guess, on its toggle. Note that the round is automatically ended when all units have attacked. Alright, so let's just end the round here. Let this guy come to us. Yes, that is very good. Look at that. So we only took 8 damage. 7 it seems like even, because we're at 93. This guy, however, took a ton of damage. So we're going to do the same thing again. Let him come to us. We're on the high ground. And with 16% losses, we killed him. We killed our first animal here. That is nice. So I guess we can click this away. A victory. Well, if you open this, this is the menu I just closed. Alright. So now we can click this to make that disappear. Display more information about the event located here. A salve for the bloodied. The battle is over, the tribe still alive, most still able to enjoy the warm caress of the midday sun and the cold bite of the morning frost. Yet you didn't come out of the encounter wholly unscathed. Several of the tribe carry nasty wounds, none more so than one of the young fighters you are most fond of. Deep in slumber, blood oozes from a deep gash to her neck. Such wounds usually end in death, but one of the elder's followers thinks he can heal her by applying a poultice of tree bark and plant leaf. What do you say? Treat or dismiss? These concoctions can be powerful forces. It is her best hope. Chances of triggering another narrative event, or dismiss. We will pray to the spirits, implore them to give her the strength to survive. Again, chances of triggering another narrative event. Now, I think actually that a poultice of tree bark and plant leaf would be something that they would have used historically. So I'm going to say, yeah, treat it, confirm, and we'll see what it does for us. Meanwhile, we have another food curiosity. We are not going to be able to reach that this turn. However, let's see, we got 10 food for killing an animal. And of course, one of the 3 stars we need. Alright, this is turn 5. Now we also have a button here that shows the tile output of food, industry, money and science. This could be interesting later on. Now, by now also we have access to the claim territory button. Found a new outpost in any neutral territory consumes all of the army's movement points. Now, I thought this took influence. We have 25. Let's see, your current influence, it can be spent on merging cities, claiming cultural wonders, and expanding your empire by placing or attaching outposts. Yeah, so I was correct in that. Do we want to place an outpost yet, however? We have not really had a lot of information, but this seems good. Like, this seems fertile land. We have a river close by. Not a lot of production, but also not a lot of food really, but I don't know what a lot of food is yet. But this place seems pretty good. 5 food over here, 4 industry, 1. Like all of these are pretty okay, I guess. But there might be better places. We might not want to put down an outpost immediately. And now the outpost is not a city also. It lays claim to an area, and you can expand it into building it into a city, but it's not a city. But this could be an interesting place to build something. It's on the edge. We could make another city somewhere else and then combine them, because you can actually merge these into bigger and bigger areas, because this right now is a small province, right? But these could be turned into massive provinces with a huge city, which is another difference from civilization. So let's see what this, we could do that here. We will get plus 13 food, plus 5 production, and it would cost us 5 influence. Now we can move around a little bit and we can have a look. So 13 and 5, 14 and 7, so that's already better. 13 and 6, 15 and 8, that is nice. 10 and 6, 11, 4 and 3 science also. Because of the science here. So yeah, this is a combination of all the tiles surrounding that city, by the way. So it just connects up all of these tiles in a circle around it. So 15 and 8, this is very nice. And we could also expand upon this, build a district here. Actually, this is part of a different area. So if we would build one here, 13.6, 14.7, if we build it here, we could build up into this area, we could build down here, get that access science. It seems interesting. We're going to go for it, so let's see how that goes for us. Right, so we have an outpost. Outpost creation, time remaining until the end of the construction. 3 turns. The first steps into new lands are always the hardest. We salute our brave pioneers. This claims the territory as ours, but claims are fragile. Consider attaching the territory or evolving into a city. Initial duration 6, turns before completion 3. Interesting. So I don't know, I don't think we have to stay here for that. And it's interesting, by the way, because we laid claim to this and all the tiles around it turned greener, except for this tile, which is in a different province. Now we have another deer over here. We might want to go ahead and attack it. And it doesn't seem, oh, we could go up here and then attack. And I think we are going to want to do that. And this is a nice, easy way to get close to being able to choose a civilization, I guess. So, when you're satisfied with your unit placement, you can use the auto battle or manual battle button to start the fight. Auto battle, the computer will play instead of you, but you can take the controls back whenever you want, or manual battle. Now, we're still very... this is 1-in-1. Alright, and this is of course the other thing, like the battlefield is not just one tile and one tile, it takes up several tiles around the place where you initially started. Now we could move up here, and we might want to do that because this is the highest ground, and this deer could move up here, there, and then attack us from up here into this downwards area. So I think, yeah, we're going to go ahead and move there. And he is going to move and attack. So let's have a look. -12, -38. So that definitely is in our favor. And this would give us enough food again, of course. So we're going to stay on the defensive here. This should grow our army after this battle is over. Oh, and he's almost dead. We are going to do that one final time. So the terrain definitely is extremely important. We got a victory. We lost 25% of our health, but that's fine, because our army just grew into, well, got a second unit, essentially. It didn't grow into anything. But let's see, destroy a lair. To destroy a lair, use the ransack army action on it. Note that this action will require a few turns to complete. So a lair. Interesting. Did you notice that your army gained a new unit? Harvesting food curiosities, hunting animals, or ransacking lairs are the best ways to collect more food. Understood. Alright, so I think this is about as far as we could move. And we have 5 out of 20 food. We might want to move over here. However, right now we cannot move. And why did somebody just fall over and die? That is interesting. That might be a bug, or somebody might get damage from making a move that you could not do, I guess. I'm not sure, but let's see. Open or close notification area. Population gain, more people, more power. Outpost. Interesting. Let's end the turn. Now we're going to ignore this discovery. We're going to go for the food. That's going to give us a bit more food again. Berries. Curiosity collected. New knowledge. That just gave us 5. So actually that's not that powerful, really. Also, we have Saffron in our region. That gives us +1 industry as well as 5 money. And +1 vision range for some reason. Just if we are on it, I guess. Not sure. Anyway, that's all we can do right now. And now we also get influence per turn now, which is cool. So we could want to make more outposts. We could definitely go ahead and do that, I guess. Or it cannot be done without 50 influence. So first it was 5, so the first one is very cheap. But then the next one is more expensive. That is good to know. Man, the river. I didn't see the river there, or I didn't pay attention to it. That kind of screwed us over. But it's fine. Let us end our turn. So this seems like it's just going about its business without us. That is good. Outpost Management. Once you've created an outpost, the territory where it is located is considered claimed and belongs to you. No one else can create an outpost there. Unless an opponent has open borders with you, they can no longer lawfully set foot inside either. If for some reason you are not satisfied with the position of your outpost, you can relocate it somewhere else inside the territory. You can also develop it into a city after leaving the Neolithic, enabling resource gathering, infrastructure, construction, and military production. But be aware that cities cannot be relocated. In both cases, these operations take several turns to complete. That is very interesting. So it would take 6 turns, but we can move somewhere else in the territory. Now we don't even see all of our territory. It extends down to over here. We might want to go ahead and try and discover some of that, but I also kind of want to explore in this direction and find what is up in these other regions. So we have a stone field and a crater over here. It's not very lucrative terrain, I guess. We have some mountains. How pretty is this game, by the way? It looks very, very nice. We got another food resource over here. Some more wild berries. We're up to 15. That is nice. And we don't have any more stuff left. So we got a new curiosity there. Also growing. Alright, so now we have 2. Plus we have the nomadic tribe inside of our outpost. That brings us up to 3. So the outpost does count. That is very interesting. Now we can see a few huts around here. Actually even some people moving around. That is very cool. Alright, let's end the turn there. A salve for the bloodied 2. The elder prepared the poultice and applied it to the gash. For the first few days little change could be seen in the wounded fighter, her face pale, her body feverish. But come the 5th day her eyes opened and you knew she would survive. It is a happy day. Rebirth. Nature's riches offer more than simple sustenance. We must study many plants. Modify calendar research cost by -25%. That is very cool. Now, that says something about research. How do we actually research things? I don't think we can until we build our first city. And until that time we're discovering the world as a nomadic tribe. So let's end the turn. And we will continue. We have a prairie. Base movement cost 1. That's good. But we have to move, we have some high ground here that we had to move around. We can move into the stone field on the next turn, get a curiosity. And this seems to be the edge of our territory. We cannot see what this tile does, but this is quite sizable, and all of this is ours. Of course, we are only working the area around our city, so all of the other resources right now do not count. But I'm sure there's other ways we could make them count. Alright, Empire Unknown, Culture Chosen. Empire Unknown AI reached the ancient with the Hittites. Acknowledge. Alright, let's go ahead and get this curiosity. With that we got some influence, so that is cool. With this we now have enough to build another outpost. This is our territory, and I don't know about any other territories that could be interesting for now. There seems to be some green area over in this direction. This might be a cool place to settle. So let's move across here. Ooh, we have a mammoth. We could kill it and it's already wounded. So let's go ahead and attack it, and that should allow us to get to the next era as well. So where are we going to go? We are going to keep these guys here on the high ground, or as much of on the high ground as possible. We will end our deployment. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, so I don't think we can turn the camera, but this seems to be higher ground than this terrain. So what we could do is we could move up here. Right, and this guy could move. Because if we move here, he's just going to attack us there. So if we move here, we might be too far away for him to reach us. I don't know how far he can move. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, he's going after the people down here, where he gets a massive bonus. Look at that. Minus 34, minus 14. So I should have moved further away. But I had no idea how far he could move, really. Attack range 1, veterancy. Alright, so let us see. We're going to move down and give this an attack. Down it goes. Nice. So that gives us some more food. That should grow our army up to 3, I guess. Spoils you gain 40 food, 40 influence. Enter a new era. You've earned 1 era star and may now choose a new culture for the next era. Evolve your civilization with a new culture for the next era. Remind me later or choose now. Oh, let's have a look. Let's choose now. This could be cool. Select the culture you will adopt for your empire in the next era. Use the previous and next buttons to preview each culture. Now, one other civilization has done this so far, and this is one of those that we can no longer choose. Have you seen the affinity icon? This icon symbolizes the domain where a culture excels. I'll hover over it with the cursor to learn more about this one. The tallest blade is the first to be cut by the scythe. You can get more detailed information about a culture by left-clicking on its artwork. This will display the legacy trait, emblematic district, and emblematic unit of this culture. Alright, so we click on that, and basically that tells us a little bit more about the specialty of every civilization, like you would have in Civilization. If you want to play with this culture, use the Adopt button. Alright, so we have the Assyrians. Siege Masters, +1 land movement speed on units, unlocks action buyout on Empire. I don't know the full benefits of that, but you could use money to buy things rather than waiting for construction, I guess. Their unique unit, or emblematic building, I mean, is the Danu. Providing high border defense, this fortified citadel allows the Assyrians to assert their dominance over conquered territories. +10 fortification, +1 combat strength and combat for units adjacent to the district, -5 stability on city or outpost. Is a land unit spawn, is fortified, and Assyrian Raiders is our unique unit. Known for their sweeping raids across desert and plain, these horsemen seek wealth and power for the Empire. Close combat unit that ignores enemy zones of control, particularly good for running down ranged units, and Pillager. Generates additional money when destroying an outpost. Interesting. So this would lead to a very aggressive playstyle. Now, the Hittites, Oh, somebody else took them, but let's have a look. Combat strength unlocks action buyout and empire. Okay. Avari automatically upgrades regular outpost. Can be used as a land spawn for neighbor cities. Is a land unit spawn. Interesting. And the Gigir. War chariots provide an invaluable advantage to the Hittites, but the disciplined organization of the army only let the nobles fight on them. So the cavalry, close combat unit that ignores enemy zones of control, and they have suppression. The targeted unit can either move or attack next turn, but not both. Interesting. Now, as for things that we could play, we have the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Harappans, the Mycenaeans, the Nubians, the Olmecs, the Phoenicians, and the Zhou. Now all of these of course have their own benefits. So the Zhou judge not an empire by the strength of its armies. +2 stability on district unlocks, +2 stability on district, unlocks action buyout an empire. Alright, so it seems everyone gets that. They have a Confucian school that they can build, +3 science per religion, +5 science per adjacent mountain. On city or outpost, -5 stability, +1 researcher slot. Oh, sorry. And Zanche. Zanche are horse-towed vehicles carrying a crew of 2 and help commanders observe and control the battlefield. Mandate of Heaven, bonus combat strength and stability is high. Interesting. The Phoenicians. Modify all constructibles, buyout cost by -20%. So these guys are on money. Haven, +2 money per adjacent coastal water. We don't have that. +2 money per adjacent lake. We have one of that in a different province. Replaces harbor. So that's not the one we want. The Olmecs, natural harmony. All that was and is and will be is written in the stars. +2 influence on territory. Okay. Might be useful. We can build an Olmec head. Gives us +1 faith, +3 food, +2 faith per adjacent river. On city or outpost, +1 farmer slot, -5 stability. Okay, and we have javelin throwers. Made of obsidian, hardwood or bone, Olmec javelins are able to pierce the toughest protection at range. Ranged combat unit. Less effective when it can't see its target. Receives a penalty to its combat strength when defending against close combat attacks. And he is stronger on difficult terrain tiles as an ambusher. Interesting. The Nubians, lots of money, faith with the Meroe pyramids, +3 money per adjacent maker's quarter, Tasseti archers. Nubians are known to be expert bow handlers. In fact, the Egyptians even call Nubia Tasseti, which meant the land of the bow. Exceptional accuracy, can shoot above obstacles without penalties. Interesting. The Mycenaeans, brutal upbringing, modify unit production cost by -25%, +25 experience on creating unit on city or outpost. So these are very combat focused. Cyclopean fortress, +1 combat strength in combat for units adjacent to the district, and so on and so on. They have the Promachoi. Melee units, useful for protecting range units from cavalry. Champion, stronger when attacking during the first round. Interesting. So again, these are for a very aggressive playstyle. The Harappans seem to focus on food quite a bit. +1 food on district, producing food. +1 food on river. Unlocks action buyout and empire. They can build a canal network. Gives us +1 food, on city or outpost, +1 farmer slot, is considered as a river. Interesting. So, does that give us the extra +1 food from fertile inundations as well, I wonder? And then they get runners. The Harappans first not for warfare, preferring to make more peaceful relations with their rivals. They're a melee unit, so they can fight. They generate money when collecting curiosities. Oh, interesting. The Egyptians. I'm just going to go through this one and the Babylonians, I guess, and then we've gone through all of them, and then we can make our pick. The Egyptians. The seed cannot sprout upwards without also sending down roots. So these guys focus on industry, production cost by -10%. +1 industry and district producing industry. They can build the Egyptian pyramid, +2 industry, +1 influence per adjacent maker's quarter. Interesting. And they get the Markabata, a lightweight chariot that helps Egyptian commanders observe the battlefield, dispatch orders, and fire arrows at their enemies. Move and fire. Can keep moving after making an attack. Oh, that's interesting. So you can attack and then run away. That's pretty powerful. And we have some desert around us. This could be interesting. Finally though, the Babylonians, where the mind can see, the physical body can follow. Philosophers of the wilds, +2 science per research technologies on capital. Oh, so that is a snowball, isn't it? Astronomy house, +2 food per number of researchers, I guess. +2 science per adjacent farmer's quarter. Interesting, so that also benefits food. And yeah, -5 stability, +1 researcher slot, and then you get the Sabusa Kasti. As levy recruits, Sabusa Kasti are armed and trained to fight in exchange for access to temple-owned land. Guardian, stronger when standing on a friendly district. I think we might want to go for the Babylonians, so we can go through the science really quick and see all the things we need to see. So we're going to adopt them. Alright. Culture selection. The right-hand side shows elements specific to your chosen culture. The legacy trait is a civilization ability that this culture will hand down to its descendants in the following eras. And this is the other thing about this game, is after this era is over, we can either stay with this culture or we can adopt a different one, and that is going to build on top of what we already picked before. So it's kind of like a mix and match system where you can really customize your playstyle over time. The legacy trait, so that's this upper one, I guess. The emblematic district is a district which belongs to this culture only, so that also is something that we can have, that nobody else can have. And I guess it stays with us as well, unless it turns into something else later on. Finally, the emblematic unit is a military force also specific to this culture. It can, however, become obsolete as you progress through the game. Use the confirm button to adopt this culture. Yes, confirm.
The challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay.
Alright, so we are leaving the Neolithic and entering the Ancient era. Now we also grew. We have a bunch of scouts now, rather than regular hunters. We have a ton of strength. And let's see, we still have the sanctuary. We might want to go ahead and try and deal with that. Let's see, before placing your first city, let's study terrain. Use this button to show the grid. Yeah, we already turned that on. This grid shows the natural resources of all discovered tiles. Tile resources can be food, industry, money, or science, and are collectively known as FIMs. You can play with or without the grid enabled as you see fit. In case it is needed, it will automatically appear. Information displayed in the grid can be very useful for organizing your cities and maximizing their production. Now, we already placed down our first outpost. Now we can turn this into a city, but I'm not going to do that now because we've been playing for some time already. That's going to be in the next video. So please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more. And I will see you guys for whatever video I do next.